So welcome back to another episode of the new features we want to see in FIFA 20. By now you should know that this show is all about what the community wants to see in this year's game. So we're going to be talking about some new stadiums, a feature from FIFA 14 and some career mode stuff as well. And of course, if you enjoy the video, make sure you leave a like for me. If you're new around here and you want to see more in this series, make sure you subscribe today and let's get into it. So we're going to start with a stadium suggestion from Jude, and they want to see Hampden Park in the game. Now, Hampden Park is the stadium for the Scottish national team, and it's a pretty decent sized stadium as well, coming in at over 50,000 capacity. Here's some photos of it. It looks pretty nice, and I think it has like an athletic track around it as well sometimes, and yeah, I don't mind. The more stadiums, the better. This next suggestion is for career mode primarily, and Daniel would like to see the Asian Cup, and the Asian Cup is something that is more important around Asia. Obviously, Australia is a part of it, and some Asian countries. It's still a pretty big tournament in this area of the world. It's like the Euros for Europe, you know, and it would be nice to have it in career mode. And of course, if they were to add it, they probably need to add some more Asian national teams into the game. So Pong would also like to see the Thailand national team in the game. So I think, yeah, if they're going to add the Asian Cup, which would be nice, they should add some more Asian national teams. But is it going to happen? Not really sure. This next one comes from Ben, and he wants to see practice matches. So I think what he's talking about is the practice matches that you could do from older FIFA games. You know, if you went into the practice arena in like FIFA 14, you could do practice matches. So we're on FIFA 14 now, and I think this was one of the last games to actually have this feature. And basically you press like the options key during the practice arena session, and it'll take you to these options here where you can press practice match. You could do 11v11 playing as the attacking team or defending team. And you can even do less than that. If you want to do 11v5, you can do that. Different camera angle as well, be a goalkeeper. Just really cool stuff. And basically you would be playing like a practice match, which is pretty fun. But it would be more useful in career mode. If you have a lineup you want to test out, different players in different positions, without having to waste a game, like a proper competition game, you could just do it in training. And that's a beautiful shot, hits the post. But yeah, you could do it in training and you don't have to like waste a game. If EA was to keep the same layout for career mode in FIFA 20, they could easily just add it as part of the training section. You could press the training section and maybe it would be a part of one of the drills there. Or you could just have it as a slide over thing where you go to the training tile, you hit the R stick, and then it will like switch to maybe a thing that says practice match or something. That would be pretty cool. Next up, we have a career mode suggestion from Sean, and he would like to see the option to create testimonial matches, which is basically those retirement matches. And he goes, if that's too unrealistic, just put it in the news section, like an article that says that a testimonial is occurring or has occurred, you know, gives you the final score. But I can't believe that it would be too hard to add a testimonial match into career mode, because PES Master League does have these matches that you can actually play as well. Now, testimonials is basically every season in Master League, there's going to be a group of players that retire and they get a dedicated match where you can verse them using your own squad, and it's basically at the end of the season, and it's basically just a send-off for those guys who are going to be retiring. So I have an example here for you. At the end of my Liverpool Master League, there was Peter Cech retiring, and he was the main headliner of the old boys. But of course, there was other players a part of that team like Adriano, John O'Shea, Churchy, Pazzini as well. And basically, you just play your normal match like any other game. It doesn't go to anything. It's just basically a final send-off for the boys. Sometimes you win them, sometimes you lose them. They're not actually that bad. And yeah, in career mode, when players retire, you don't get any testimonials. People want to see testimonial matches for players that have serviced for the club over 10 years or something. Unfortunately, we don't get that in the game mode at the moment. So maybe they can do something interesting like that in the future, where at the end of the season, you'll have a group of old players just choosing to retire, and you can verse them as part of a testimonial match, you know. Next up, we have a suggestion from Lola. This also has to relate to career mode, and they want to see scouts that are female. So basically, if you check the scouting pages now, it's basically male dominated. It's got a lot of men that you can hire, but there's no women scouts in the game at the moment. And I don't know, maybe some of you guys might think it's a little bit stupid, but back in the day, in FIFA 08 on manager mode PSP, I was playing it the other day for a video, and then I noticed that you could actually have like a female manager as your profile. So there was actually like 24 different managers to pick from. I think a few of them were actually females, and I have a few screenshots for you now. So yeah, they have done this sort of thing in the past where they've included females. Right now they haven't really included females in career mode, manager mode, but you know, one day I reckon they will again. So this next one comes in from Jack, and he would like to see more realistic injuries. He goes, currently in FIFA, players have like a head clash, and then they just get up again and start running like they haven't been like hurt, you know. And in the real world, if you watch football, when there's a head clash, you know, the players go down on the floor and the referee has to stop the game as it's going. And then there's like a drop ball that happens after that. So we don't really get drop balls in FIFA. There's no head clash sort of injuries as well. And I guess people just want more realistic gameplay. So that's going to be a part of that package because it does happen in the real world. The only thing is, can we trust the EA collision system to actually work properly, or are we going to get drop balls every 10 minutes or every time there's an aerial challenge? So this next one comes from Miguel, and it's something that a lot of player career mode people would love to see in the future, and it's basically having cars, having a house, having clothes that you can change in player career mode, like having a personal life involved with the game, I guess, like having a GTA 5 sort of system where your player walks around the city. I know it's out there. I know EA wouldn't really bother with this, I don't think, but NBA 2K does this really well, I think. From what I've seen, it has like a really nice personal life element to their My Player. In FIFA at the moment, it really doesn't have anything. It's just basically training and on the field, and you know, there's no cutscenes for cars, there's no sponsorship deals. Basically, if they could like take elements from the journey that they did and put it into player career mode, I think it would improve it a lot. When the journey first got announced, I thought it was going to be player career mode like revamped, where you could use your own design, you didn't have to use a certain player, you know, and it would be basically player career mode reimagined. But unfortunately, it turned out to be its own game mode, and the story was pretty linear. Whatever decisions you made ultimately ended up taking you to the same destination as any other player. And I think people want to see elements of the journey put into My Player, where you have like boot sponsorships and you talk and do press conferences as well, interviews after the game, tattoos on your players. There's a lot of different things they can take from the journey. We know they can do it because they've done it in the journey now, so it's just a matter of transferring it across into career mode. And it'll be interesting to see if they actually put any of the journey elements into FIFA 20 career modes, because otherwise it'll be a waste of time to do everything they did with the journey for 3 years and to not use any of those assets into career mode when they really can, easily they can do that. It would be a bit of a shame. So we've spoken before about some teams in Europe having different European numbers for their Champions League games and domestic league games, but Luke wants to see the Bayern Munich kit change for the Champions League. He says that in the Bundesliga, the player name goes under the number and the team name goes on top of the number. But in the Champions League, it becomes more normal where the player's name goes on top and there is no team name on the back of the jersey. So here's some photos you can see in the Champions League. Bayern Munich has the name at the top and the number underneath the name. And then in the Bundesliga, it's got Bayern Munich at the top, the number 6, and then the player's last name underneath the number. So in the game at the moment, you know, they have the same style for the Bundesliga and the Champions League. That's because EA haven't really done that kind of treatment like they did with certain Premier League clubs like Chelsea, United. They have their own little European competition numbers, which looks really nice. Hopefully they can add some more into FIFA 20 because it's so good of a detail that it needs to be for more clubs as well in the Champions League. Next up, we have a suggestion from Gunner's Bible, and it's for player career mode again. We've got a lot of player career mode suggestions in this episode, but he wants to have cutscenes for transfers. So I'm guessing when you sign for a different club, you'll get like a cutscene. And at the end of the day, it's basically taking what they did from the journey into player career mode. It just lines up perfectly. There's good examples in the journey of press conferences / cutscenes for when Alex Hunter joins a different club. All they have to do is that. Just copy that. And in PES as well, there's also a nice cutscene that they could steal, and that's when a player signs a contract on the table there, shakes hands with the manager. But ultimately, you know, as long as a guy holds up their jersey or something, that would be pretty nice as well. Next up, we have a suggestion from Wogan, and he would like to see for player career mode, the player starting in the youth team rather than starting in the first team for the club that you choose. And, you know, this could be a nice feature, but I think they would have to add like a whole new layer into player career mode where you have to generate youth teams. And I don't think they would go the licensed route where you have like real life youth players, but they'd probably just use players from like the generated system that the Youth Academy currently has, where you just have fake names and stuff like Mason or something. Yeah, it could work. I think it would sound nice, but would they do it? Probably not at the moment, given the current state of player career mode. They would probably have to revamp the whole player career mode to see these kinds of changes. I mean, yeah, I just think it might be a bit too complicated because they have to generate youth teams for different clubs. Then you have to have a youth league as well that you play in. I don't know if they would bother even doing that, to be honest. If you need something else to watch, make sure you check out the video I did the other day about the FIFA 19 new update, where it's got like a new face and also some career mode fixes. So make sure you click that video, and I'll see you next time.